just want to start off by saying thanks for deciding to live on purpose by using your time and your gifts to serve with us in our children's ministry here at Cornerstone. And so this is training part 1 and 2 for our table leaders during children's ministry, the worship hour. And so we're going to start off by just defining what a table leader is. And so before you come into this position, you're like, hey, I'm all sought out for it. I want you to know what it is. And so pretty much you're going to work with the table in one of 3 age groups. You're going to work with the preschool children, kindergarten through 3rd grade, or 4th through 5th grade. And so whichever group that you sign up with to work with, that's the table you'll sit at. And you'll pretty much serve as that table's pastor for the morning. Don't let that scare you, but you're pretty much going to shepherd those children during that hour and a half or so of worship to the feet of Jesus. And so with that being said, this training session is going to deal with what a children's table leader does. And part 2 of the training is going to focus on what an average morning looks like for you as a table leader. And so in short, table leaders just do ministry. And in order to clarify that, we're going to take a letter from each letter in the word ministry, and we're going to describe what a table leader does. And so the first one is of course M, and that is meet. We want you to meet all the kids with a warm touch as they come through that door over there. We want you to give them a high five, a fist pump, a side hug, just whatever, just a warm touch to communicate that, hey, we are glad that you are here. And then escort them to your table and kind of get them involved into the activities going on at your table. And as you're meeting kids coming in, maybe you see a new kid come in. And here's what I want you to do with those, and that leads us to our next letter, I, is I want you to introduce that child to your regular attendees over here, and also to the lead teacher and other small group leaders if you have the ability to do so. So meet the new kids, meet all kids coming in with a warm touch, and then introduce the new kids with the regular kids and regular adult leaders there with you. And the next thing is noise control. One of your jobs as a table leader is to help us with the noise control during teaching time. Now, there's going to be some times during our children's worship service that it sounds like a ball game, and there's going to be other times that we need it just as quiet as a church mouse would be. And so, especially during the large group teaching time. And so, as your responsibility as your table leader is to keep your noise at your table under control as the lead teachers leading large group teaching time. And so for more help on that, there'll be another video about behavior and consequences during children's worship. And so we'll let you know when that comes out. But for right now, just keep in mind that you're responsible for the noise level at your table. And so that brings us to the next one, is I. And we want you to be involved. As an adult leader, we want you to be involved in the worship service. This isn't play church. This isn't a worship service just for children, but it's a genuine worship service on a children's level. And so we want you to be involved from everything from the pre-service activities, that including games and the activity sheets or coloring sheets at your table. We want you to be involved in the offering and the announcements, and we want you to be involved in the worship. And so whether that's got motions to the songs or whatever the case is, even if you're just trying to learn the motions or you feel like you're acting a fool, we want you to be involved in it, at the very least singing and praising God in genuine worship alongside the kids. So no cell phones out. We want you to be really focused in being involved in this children's worship service. In fact, Jesus says in Matthew 5:19 that those who teach His commands but don't obey His commands will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But those who obey His commands and then teach His commands will be called greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So we want you to be involved and lead by example. We want you to communicate to our kids that you take this time of worship seriously, and we hope that they do too. And so we have meet kids as they come in with a warm touch, introduce any new kids to regular attendees. We have N for noise control, okay, and now we have involvement. And so that brings us to S. We want you to smile, okay? We want you to communicate with your body language that you are excited to be here, that you are excited to serve, that you're excited to see the children at your table here, and that you, and the fact of the matter is we as Christians have something to smile about. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15 that if Christ didn't raise from the dead, then we should be pitied among all people who have ever lived. But the fact of the matter is that we worship a God who spoke the world into existence, who created each one of us uniquely, who sent His Son on the cross to die for our sins, rose Him from the dead the 3rd day. Now Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, makes intercession for us. He's in our corner all the time. He's coming back for us. And the fact of the matter is that nothing can separate us from this love. And so I'm not asking you to be fake when you come in. I get Sunday mornings. I get that all hell can break loose before you get on this church property. And all I'm asking you to do is is no matter what happens, that you can communicate with your body language that, yes, I'm glad that you're here, and yes, no matter what life throws at you, we are secure in our faith and our hope in Jesus Christ. And so smile, communicate that. And then T is for teach. As a table leader, you're going to be responsible for leading the small group teaching time. And so what you'll do is you'll have your small group material, and it'll either be emailed to you or you can pick it up printed off in the Sunday school office or life group office. On this training post, what you will need to do when you come to this question is check the box if you prefer it being emailed to you, and we'll email you the small group material, or if you prefer having it printed off, we'll print it off and it'll be available for you to pick up downstairs in the Sunday school office. But what you will need to do is, of course, read the teacher devotional if there's one in it. If not, read the scripture and meditate on it that we're teaching about that week. Allow God to speak to you through that. And then go through the activities. Now, keep in mind that you're going to be looking at 10 to 15 minutes on your small group activity. And so keep that in mind as you're choosing activities. Okay, we'll touch a little bit more about it and what you can look like on average Sunday morning. But right now, just know that you are responsible for leading your children, your group of children, into a small group activity that reinforces the main point of the morning. And so that is teach. And the next one is R. It's a big one, is you just need to relax and be yourself. Be yourself. There's been a lot of times in some points in ministry that I come in and I have to act like I have it all together, or that, God is going to do something big this morning, that something's going to turn around all of a sudden. And the fact of the matter is, God doesn't always work like that. In fact, more or less, He works on a longer timeline. And so just relax, be yourself, and have fun. Let the kids see that you're a real person with real struggles, and just like them, you desire to follow Christ with all that you are. So relax and be yourself. And then finally, yes, communicate yes. Yes, that you're glad they're here, and yes, that you want them to come back. And so as they're leaving, they, maybe say, hey, Jimmy, man, I'm glad you come today. Come back next week. Or especially if they're a new child and a parent comes in, walk up to the new parent and say, hey, my name's Thomas. I was Jimmy's small group leader today. I really enjoyed having him. I hope he comes back next week. And, if he can't make it next week, we've also got this coming up. And so if we've got a special children's event coming up, you can probably find the flyer on the table. If not, it just always helps to keep check on our website of what's coming up. And make sure that we communicate, yes, that you're glad you're here. And yes, we want you to come back either to the next event or our next children's church worship. And so there you have it. In short, table leaders do ministry. They meet kids as they come in with a warm touch. They make sure that new kids are introduced to regular attendees, both children and adult alike. You help in noise control. You're involved in the children's ministry worship service. You smile. I forgot how to spell S. Is you smile. You communicate with your body language that you're glad to hear. You're teaching a small group activity. You're relaxing, being yourself, and then finally communicating yes. We're glad you're here, and yes, we want you to come back. Again, part 2 of table leader training will deal more with what you can expect on a Sunday morning.